I hit record a job you can't ignore.
So yeah, so today you guys are going to do all the work. Now we have about 13 people. What do you think, Joanne? Should we just jump into this? Because I'm actually going to be sending you off into little rooms to do things. And can you give me the permission to do that, please?
I sure will.
So yeah, look, we'll get started. If anybody arrives late, I'll just throw them into a room and get them on with it. So
we're going to be able to do that now, Shane.
Perfect. Okay, well, we're going to play a little game. So let me talk to you about this game. So everybody know how to play Scrabble?
Yep.
Yeah? Yep. Okay. So the basic rules of Scrabble are you get 7 letters, and from those 7 letters, you make words, or you make a word on any given go. And you can use any of the letters you have in front of you. You can't use them more than once if you don't have them more than once. And the most important rule of Scrabble is that the words you make up have to be words, you know, so there's usually somebody in the corner of the room with a big fat dictionary ready to argue with you when you come up with something that is, you know, using too many Z's and Q's and scoring you ridiculous scores. This is where this is different. The rules of this game are that, hang on, let me just get myself to the right spot. I flick on, oh, hang on. Yeah, the rules of this game are we need to make up words, not make words. So it's the exact opposite rule. The words you make up cannot be existing words. They must be entirely made up out of your head. Yeah. Yep. Now, words obviously are words have meanings. And you'll find as you play this that, you know, when you make up a word, a meaning will come to mind. But I do want you to capture meanings as well. So I'm going to throw you into groups of about 3 people. I'm going to give each of you a set of letters. And I want you to play with those letters for, I'm going to give you 7 minutes. And what I want you to do in that time is come up with as many words as you can initially, either separately or together. I don't really mind. But at the end of it, I want you to pick one. I want you to pick your best word to share back to the group. Okay? So is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, let me just see. How many people do we have?
We have 13.
Okay, so going for groups. So I'll go with 4 groups of 3. 3 is a good size. So the next, so what you need to do here is, can you all take a quick screenshot of this? Because you'll need it in the groups. Well, you only actually need, so it's just the first 4 groups of letters, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you'll be put into a group, and that group will be numbered 1, 2, 3, or 4. And whatever the number of your group is, that's your set of letters that I want you to play with for the next 7 minutes. Okay. Yep. So I'll drop into the groups just to make sure that you're all clear on what you're doing, but it is literally as simple as play with those letters, come up with words, put meanings to those words, and then as a group decide which is your best word, which is the one that you want to bring back, and then we're going to vote as a group on which is the best of all of the words that you have brought back. Okay? And
just to be clear, we are inventing words.
You are inventing words.
Okay.
The word has to be a new word.
Okay.
Yeah? That's the most significant rule. The only other rules, as I said, is you can't reuse letters unless they're there. So if you happen to be in group 2, you'll see there are 2 O's there. So you could have 2 O's in a word, but you can't have 3 O's. Okay. Now, so have you all grabbed that screenshot? Yes?
Yep.
Oh, okay, I'll just stop sharing that for a moment. I think I need to do that in order to be able to set the rooms up. So group 1 is Colin, Joanne, and Barbara. Group 2 is Maureen, Stephen, and Seamus. Group 3 is Alison, Caroline, Laura, and group 4 is Maria, Michael, and Thomas. Is that everybody? Did I miss anybody? Yeah. So take your set of letters and just spend the next few minutes coming up with words on your own. So we can do this as a whole group. It brings another dimension when you divide up into groups. So if we can't do that, it's fine. So we will just end up voting as a group on all of the words that you bring back. So off on your own, take your letters, and we'll give you. I'll give you 3 minutes to play with the words on your own. Yeah. So 3 minutes. Off you go.
Are we working with all the words, Shane, or is
You're working with.
group...
So Stephen, you're in group 2, so it's the second set of letters for you.
Sorry. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Giggling already.
Always a good sign. Giggling is good.
Do you have to use all the letters?
Nope.
No.
You can use as a word can be anything from 2 to 7 letters. 3, 2. As they say on countdown. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Okay, so hopefully you've all got some nice words there. So the next thing I want you to do is have a quick look back over the words that you have and pick your favorite. So just give me a quick hand up when you've picked your favorite. Okay, so first one up. So Joanne has bra, a new type of face mask that gives your face a youthful uplift. Excellent. Barbara has gnarlin. Going with the flow. Rollin' is my inspo. Cool. And who's the third one in the group? Colin. Oh, there we are. Nanblur. Someone who just blurts out crap. That sounds like me. Okay, so we have 3 words there. I want to narrow those down to 1. So we're going to do this quickly just by a show of hands. Yeah. So you're going to vote for 1 and only 1. And you can vote for your own if you want to. So bra, a new type of face mask that gives your face a youthful uplift. How many votes for that? So we have 2 votes for bra. Next, gnarlin, going with the flow. How many votes for gnarlin? 1, 2, 3 votes for gnarlin. And then last we have nanblur, someone who just blurts out crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 7 votes for nanblur. Okay, so that's our first group dealt with. So moving quickly on to group 2, which is Stephen, Seamus, and Alison. Can you fire your words into the chat? And for the rest of you, maybe you'd have them ready to go so we can speed up the typing process.
I thought I was in group 2.
Who's group 2? Maureen, Stephen, Seamus. Is that right?
Yeah.
Even if you thought you were in group 2, just go with it. Even if you weren't. So, Inuk, a small space where you can escape from family and pets have an undisturbed Zoom call. I like when I misread things. I thought it said pets have an undisturbed Zoom call.
Oh.
Seamus has nook, a small confined area. Yes, and we have 1 more to come. And Stephen has sniffed in a hurry for the next experience. Okay, again, quick show of hands. Inuk, a small space where you can escape from family and pets to have an undisturbed Zoom call. Inuk has 2 votes, I think I saw there. Nook, a small confined area. We have 1 vote for Nook. And then Snext, in a hurry for the next experience, gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay, Snext. So it seems, so far this might be random, but last seems to be best.
Don't say that, we'll be here all morning.
Yeah. Okay, group 3. Fire them into the chat there. Hope you have them ready to just cut and paste. Or hit return, or whatever it is. So, Harsip. Sip away your hardships. I like that. Who else are we waiting for? Alison and Laura. So hip rolls. How your hip rolls feel during a pandemic. Okay. And Lifer, a mythical creature, or is it similar to a gnome? Okay, again, quick votes. We have Harsip. How many votes? 1 vote for Harsip. Hip rolls. How your hip rolls feel during a pandemic. We have 1 vote for that. And our 2 votes. Lifer, a mythical creature, or is it similar to a gnome? So Liffer gets 4 votes. Okay, so Liffer is our winner
We
there.
definitely have a recency bias here.
We do have a recency bias. So last group, group 4. Get your words in there. Siced, a verb, to be siced, to be given partially melted sun-drenched ice in a glass by a waiter while on holiday. Oh God, wouldn't we love that? I want to see that on the timeline for the pandemic. You know, on the 24th of June, we will all be siced. So we have fry kit, being able to freely decide on what you wear. And we have Dexys, someone singing "Come On Eileen" on repeat. Oh God, you guys have made my morning. I'm loving this. So quick votes. Siced, to be siced. 3, 4 votes. Oh, fry kit, being able to freely decide what you wear. 2 votes. Dexys, coming on Eileen on repeat. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so by a hair we have siced. Okay, so now the last part of this is we have 4 and we need to pick 1. So our remaining 4 are siced, as we just had. We have Liffer, a mythical creature, or is it similar to a gnome? We have Snext, in a hurry for the next experience. And we have Nambler, someone who just blurts out crap. So let's do these in order. So this is the big one. So think carefully about where you're going to vote here. And let's start with Nambler, someone who just blurts out crap. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 votes for Nambler. Okay, it's going to be hard to beat that. Snext, in a hurry for your next experience. 3 votes for Snext. Liffer, a mythical creature, or is it similar to a gnome? No votes for Liffer. And last we have Siced, to be given a partially melted sun-drenched ice in a glass by a waiter while on holiday. No votes for Siced. Okay, so the clear winner is Nambler, someone who just blurts out crap. Well done, Colin.
The official word of the Ireland Together community.
So now that we've done all that, what the hell was that all about? So what I'd like you to think about is, I gave you a task of making something up and you all went great and you all went off and you did it and you had no problem doing it. And it seemed like you had a bit of fun doing it. And more than that, you came back with all this utter nonsense, and yet you were able to wade through that and pick the one you liked best. Why? Like how? How did you do that?
I'm used to doing that going through CVs.
Say that again?
I'm used to doing that going through CVs.
Okay. Any other thoughts? How do you pick the best of a bunch of random words that have never existed before?
Just the sound of the word for me, I think, Shane.
The sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Anything that made you laugh.
Yeah, I was going to say humor. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like the sound of it. It makes me laugh. Anything else?
Does it conjure up something?
Yeah. So
And familiarity.
So familiarity, yes, and conjure up something I think is slightly different. By that, do you mean does the meaning and the word resonate in some sense?
Yeah. So
What you
yeah.
mean? Yeah. Okay. I think you've captured all the main things there. I don't know if anybody said it. I think the other piece is, can you actually imagine using it? Does it feel like it's a word? Yeah. So for me, when you look at innovation, when you come up with things, the word is a good example of this. And I'll just quickly share my screen again so you can see what this is. So the way I describe this is, the word is an innovation. it helps to be word-like to be accepted. So you touched on some of those things. Does it sound? Can I speak it? Can I use it? It needs to be different to be interesting. Yeah, so there were some words in there that were quite like existing words, and you didn't go for those quite as strongly as ones that were different. That thing also where it makes you laugh, that's a really good indicator of this is interesting to me. And then the other thing is, and this is a more subtle point, which I'll come back to in a subsequent session, is it's a mixture of the old and the new. So it brings some elements of what's familiar, but it casts them into a different context or in a different way. Yeah. So, you think about, nan blur as the word you picked for the blur bit at it feels like a verb. It also relates to blurting, but what you're blurting is nan, and that feels a little bit like it's not a very important. So you can deconstruct the word and the meaning and put it back together and go, all right, that's why it works. But what I really want you to think about in all of this is, first of all, when there's nothing at stake, this is really easy. Like there's nobody's life is resting on whether you came up with a good word or not. So one of the tricks of being more creative is to switch yourself into that mode of thinking where you forget about the consequences and just enjoy the process. So that's one thing. The other thing is these characteristics. That's the relationship between what exists and what's new. It has to be like it, but not too like it. It has to be different, but not too different. And if it makes you laugh, that's great. And that even applies to serious things. If you come up with something that's a bit different, it'll always tickle that childish part of your brain that just loves the new. So that's the exercise. That's what I'd like you to take away, that attitude of if you need to come up with a different solution to something, try and get into a headspace where the outcome doesn't matter, where it's discardable, where it's just a bit of fun, and then see where it goes. And if it makes you laugh, that's important. Hold on to that. And I want you to also think that words, which we use all the time, they all started. There was a time when any word you're using didn't exist. It came out of something else. And often it comes because new things need new names. So for example, blockchain is something we'd never heard of. Somebody came up with the thing and then they had to find a word, because you can't really talk about it until you put a word on it. So putting words on things is powerful. Blockchain, the last mile problem, mindfulness. These are all new words. And every year we have these, there's a whole load of them came out around the pandemic, which we're probably less fond of. But words are, for me, the smallest and often most powerful bit of innovation. So that's what I'd like you to take away and play with over the next week. Any questions on that? I realize I've taken a bit more of your time than I should have, but we did have some technology problems.
Yep.
Does that resonate with you?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Does it surprise you?
No,
Okay, good.
not when you explain it. No.
Okay. Well, I'd like you to go away and feel like this is easy. This is another little thing that's a little bit easy and a little bit fun that might go somewhere. Yeah. And don't burden it with too much expectation. Just enjoy playing with it and enjoy the attitude that you had. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Great.
Unless
Thank
you
you.
want to ask me anything or say anything or.
I'm going to go write a blog now. Watch out.
Good. Well, I hope your blog will have at least one new word in it.
Don't be an ambler, Joanne.
It's going to stick.
There we go. Let's see if we can make that word stick. Okay, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Nick.
You're saying.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
enjoy your
Jen.
week.
Thanks again.
Bye,
Jen.
everyone.
See you next week.
Next week.
Thank
Bye.
you.